Hello, happy Father's Day, 21st of June here in the UK. It's also International Yoga Day. Around the world, people are focusing on yoga, what yoga is about unity of the mind and the spirit. And in the West nowadays, people have heard the term yoga, but I don't think many people have studied it for a long time. I've studied it on and off for over 20 years and have met some incredible people that also have very different views of what it is and what it isn't and how it should be utilized. Now, this isn't a video about yoga, it isn't a video about Father's Day. It's also part of our Share Our Solutions part of strategic optimization summits. And today is one of our quarterly days. So for me, the whole 24 hours has been spent with partners and prospective partners. Now, clearly we're not meeting up live in the way we would have done and have done in the past because of other things happening in the world today. But we have conference calls coming up, we've been sharing videos, we've been interacting, and it's been quite interesting having that time on a sacred Sunday, as we've been calling it, to really speak and think from a different place. Reviewing documentaries about people that aren't with us today, but did study these things many years ago, that looked into the fundamental questions of life, looked into what could be so, and the question about whether there's science can give you all you need, or there might be something that is beyond science. So with that said, what is it that you'd love to optimize moving forward? Do you know the challenges you're looking to solve? Do you know the problems that you need help to complete? And maybe you've got solutions that are ready to be shared with the world. You can get in touch with me through simonx.com and the team at Sharing Our Solutions. But that said, this is quite a profound thing. We're in a time today where there are billions of people interacting on the phone and web, often in ways they hadn't done up until now. And as we start to see different data coming out from new patents in areas of quantum computing, quantum interfaces, the new ideas coming around health and well-being, the ideas around what it really means to be creative and valuable in society, I think we have to look at the gap. And there is a gap. And for me, the biggest gap is that aspect of, let's call it a safe space to be and communicate, and not feeling that. Now, we can get into what's real and what's not real as safety, but I think for a lot of people, if you ask them, do you feel safe to express your point of view without fear of negative repercussions, being blamed or shamed or even physically attacked, that number, I think, is actually quite low compared to where it may have been perceived to be a few decades ago. Now, there have always been people up till now, I think, that have had challenging circumstances, and my goal, one of them for many years, many decades, has been to make a difference, make the difference people can actually be free to learn and grow as they would choose. And clearly we need guidance. Most of us wouldn't learn what we could learn if somebody wasn't there being a wise teacher, a wise mentor, or advisor to us, and showing us how we can go beyond the limits of our imagination. One of the most classic examples of that they talk about is the 4-minute mile. It was deemed not to be possible, and then it happened. And then having broken that limit, it happened again and again and again. But clearly there is a gap. That gap between what one or two people can do, or a very small percentage, and what the vast majority have as in their realm of capabilities. Today I've learned that I can come out and make a video, I can post it, I could write a report, I can make a phone call, I can do a painting, I could do many things to add value, I can listen, I can learn. But not everybody knows what they can do. I don't even think myself I know all of what I can be and I can do. I'm also not clear today necessarily what is the most useful thing to the world. If I think at a very big perspective to everybody on the bar today and moving forward over the next year and decade and 100 years, what's the most useful thing I could do today? That's a very different question from what can I do today to pay the rent, to cover the costs of living today. And we don't know what's going to come. So that's a lot of what I think I've been thinking around for some time, and I'm still inquiring into. I hope this video has got you thinking a bit differently, and whether you're a father directly or not, be present to that there is this father aspect of life. And it isn't really for me just about being a man or a woman, that actually being a father to something is different than being a mother. And we can look at nature for all the myriad ways that that shows up. And sometimes what can feel like it isn't the right thing for you may be just what you need. So I think it's an interesting time, and when we start thinking about how we can be loved, supported by Mother Earth, by Father Sky, as they say in some places, getting a bit tongue-tied there. Because it is, these things are quite big concepts. We live in a bubble of reality which is so far beyond our ken, and it does seem to allow us to grow, allow us to learn. And what lessons we're learning and how we're progressing, how we're going to have our stabilizers taken off at a certain point, but maybe there's multiple levels of that, and we're still learning and still in those baby steps of what we as individuals, as communities, and as a species can really do. I hope that's been a useful video for you, an interesting video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.